quiero que nadie se ofenda, pero hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo.
Aparece na esquerda, vai romper a área, lá está ele. Dário Núñez para cá, para lá, passou, tirou. Agora! Rompeu, vai marcar! Não entrou, e agora? Agora! Yeah, 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 Yaramchuk! Ele vai atirar!
Só nós sentimos assim.
Good evening. Episode 77. European Dream Continues, I believe was the name of the title. We are back with our buddy Paul, who's bad luck, and Oscar. Gentlemen, how are you guys?
I'm
Very
great.
good. Well,
Well,
how do you say in the finals of the Champions League, like Sporting Benfica combination here?
Right. Imagine that. We definitely wouldn't have Paul on because he's bad luck. So Paul's been on here twice, pre-game, before we played at Alvalade last year, and this time, and we lost both those games. He wasn't here for the game at home against Sporting last year, and we won. So I think we just need to get rid of him, and he can't join us anymore because he's bad luck.
We were already champions when you guys played us that game, though.
So it didn't matter.
Right.
Today we got Benfica 1, Sporting 3. We'll talk about the game. Give Paul his opportunities to give Oscar some shit. Benfica 2, Dynamo Kyiv 0. We'll talk about that game. Portuguese teams in Europe. Benfica and Sporting for the first time in history make it through to the round of 16 together. Also for the first time in history, 2 Portuguese teams in the round of 16 of the Champions League, with one of them not being Porto. So that's the first time that Porto has not been one of the 2 teams in the round of 16. And we will touch on JJ still under the microscope. A lot of Lenços Brancos on Friday evening. Even after the game yesterday, he was booed off as he walked off the field. He was booed in the stadium when they announced his name pre-match. So there's a lot of division, a lot of uncertainty, regardless of the results. So we'll talk quickly on that and kind of get a unbiased, if you will, opinion from Paul being on the outside. But I think that him and Oscar might agree here on that situation. For those of you in the chat, feel free to join us, add your comments, add your questions, add your concerns. Para a malta que nos esteja a seguir em português, esta semana não tivemos o podcast em português, mas estão à vontade de deixar os vossos comentários e certamente que nós iremos falar sobre eles. Kick things off here. Benfica 1, Sporting 3. We had, I think the lineups, Paul, I think you were off by 1, if I'm not mistaken, Mateus Reis instead of Nuno Santos, right?
Yep, and it made sense. I mean, I was kind of stretching with Nuno Santos, but
yeah. So Sporting had Adan, Neto, Inácio, Fedal, Porro, Ugarte, Mateus Nunes, Mateus Reis, Sarabia, Pedro Gonçalves, and Paulinho. On the Benfica side, I think the back line we got all right. Bertonga, Otamendi, André Almeida, Vlaco Dimos in goal. In the middle, João Mário Weigl, we got right. Lázaro, there was some uncertainty between Lázaro and Gilberto, but I think for the most part, let me see, I got the paper here. We had Lázaro and Gris, and then Everton, Rafa, Darwin. There was also discussion of Seth being in there, but that was the lineup that he went with. Sporting team that had 2 players, or their two of their best players or better players missing. I'm going to start with you, Paul, since you are the victorious one, and you should go first. What did you see from the game? What did you take away from the game? And I know Jay's not here to defend himself, but that hot take about Ruben Amorim not being better than JJ, I think, went straight down the drain.
For sure. So I honestly did not expect to go in there and win 3-1. I mean, I don't think anyone did. I think Sporting dominated or played to their gameplay perfectly. And our midfield, you know how we went over, like after we did the starting 11, we said, like, who would you take over? Who would you over each other?
Yep.
Our midfield absolutely destroyed Benfica. So Ugarte, first of all, Ugarte is a guy that has the biggest balls that I can think of, because think about it. You put a 20-year-old kid who has very little minutes into a derby away in Stade de Luz, where all the fans are there. I remember you saying how sometimes kids, like, with the fans can get like distracted or intimidated. This guy came in and played out of his mind. He was arguably one of the best players in the field. The only guy that I think was better was Matheus Nunes, because let's be honest, he literally did whatever he wanted in the midfield. Benfica did have their chances and didn't take advantage. I mean, I feel like it's pretty common. Benfica likes to miss goals, but we definitely took advantage of ours, and I think overall played a perfect game. And yeah, we were actually lucky. You guys were lucky that we didn't score more as well, because we missed some chances, and there was like slight offsides for both teams. But overall, I think Sporting played very well. They definitely deserved the win at the end, and I was very impressed with all the players. I think will we talk about like MVPs after, or should I just say that now?
No, we'll talk about it after.
All right.
What are you concerned about Fidal's injury?
I am. So the only reason why I am is because I think we're very short-staffed at center back. So if Coates misses, I think he's going to miss at least another game. And Fidalzo, we only have Neto and Ignacio that are true center backs. Neto's actually playing a lot better than I've seen him. He's doing very well. So having them two there, and I know that we use like Mateus Reis sometimes back there, he's guys. So for a short term, it might be okay. But I think in January, if we can, we should definitely try adding a center back. I know that we bought a kid from Barca B team that plays for, I think, our B team, but we need some more back there, because we use back three, like I said, and we only really have one sub for the back. So I think we definitely need another center back this transfer window.
Oscar, did you see the same game that Paul did?
Yeah, I think Paul's correct. I never agree with Paul and Sporting being better than Benfica.
This is on video, Paul. You can go back and play this over and over.
This is probably the first and last time that I'll say this. But you know, Sporting played their game, and they came to Stade de Luz with knowing that they would two of the best players out, and they took it to Benfica. They took it to Benfica. They took their chances. They scored their chances. Benfica came out flat. They felt like they never got it going. They, like Paul said, they missed their chances. We had two posts. We had a goal that was taken out by 6 centimeters. You know, Sporting had a goal by 28 centimeters, but that's a little bit more obvious than 6 centimeters. Now that obviously, and then we had some chances that we missed when we were down 1-0. That if we scored, it would have been a totally different game. But the ifs is what is annoying when it comes to Benfica, because it feels like we see a lot of ifs. If we scored against Dynamo, that chance that whatever the Yaremchuk missed, we would have been already qualified. Blah 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 blah. Like that's how Benfica is playing this year. It's like a lot of ifs. And I felt Sporting dominated the game. We had more possession, but we didn't do much with it other than those chances that we didn't take advantage of. Sporting deserved this win. This is, like I said, the first and last time I'll say this, but Sporting came to Stade de Luz and took it to us. Yeah,
in terms of statistics, Sporting had 14 shots, Benfica had 11. Let me actually bring them up here on the screen. So share screen, window, Chrome tab. So Sporting had 14 shots against Benfica's 11. Benfica had 3 shots on target against Sporting's 5. Benfica had more ações na área adversária, more action in Sporting's box, but that doesn't equate to anything. 3 corner kicks for both. Benfica had 64% possession against 36. But like you said, I thought that although Benfica had the ball, we had most of the ball in our half, or just over half, and I felt that Sporting never looked uncomfortable. I don't know if you guys got the same sense, but even when Benfica went forward, even though Benfica created some chances, yes, that we missed, yes, that we weren't efficient with, I just never got the sense that like Sporting ever got out of like second gear. Like every time they attacked, they only attacked with like 3 or 4 guys. Mateus Nunes normally carrying the ball from the midfield. I felt like every time they went forward, like Benfica's backline was scrambling. I don't know if either of you guys felt the same way.
Yeah, I felt that way. I felt like like you just said, like our line, like Lazaro was surprising to me. He felt
It was
so out of
terrible.
place. He felt like and I've been praising him like in the back line. I've been praising him coming in. He's good going forward. But man, he looked lost that game. Everything went through him. Like I think all the goals came through that side or some
On that right
responsibility to
side,
him.
yeah, they did.
Yeah. So like it just felt nervous, and that's what one sector of the Benfica is the defense that I praised at the beginning of the season. That I felt confident, and I didn't know losing Lucas Verissimo was gonna like take us to this path. It looks like not really, because even against Dynamo we won 2-0, but man, if look at the opportunity they had, they put over the bar. So like it's just like the defense needs to get it together, and maybe losing Lucas was a big loss.
I think our midfield outplayed your midfield as well. Like we kind of dominated the middle of the field.
But I think part of that is because, right, and we can kind of mix two topics here in one is, right, you're playing against a Sporting team that is missing their 2 best players, arguably 2 of the top 5, 6 players in the league, right? And in terms of influence in the team, probably the 2 most influential. The way I like to look at it is Sporting's spine of that team starts with Adan, moves to Coates, and goes up to Padinha. That's how I see it from a non-Sporting fan, right? Like for me, those 3 create that spine for Sporting, right? A lot of teams like to have that spine down the middle, or kind of one in each kind of area of the field. And for me, those are the 3 that are key, right? Obviously, on Friday, we saw that maybe they don't have as much of an impact if they're missing, because there's guys there that'll step up. But I think on the other side of it, I think Ruben Amorim got it spot on, right? Whereas Jorge Jesus, I'm not sure what he was trying to do, or if the players weren't able to put in play what he prepared. But again, and Paul, I don't know if you felt the same way, but were you ever, and I know you guys scored fairly early, so it kind of changes the opinion, but even up 1-0 or even at 0-0, like, did you ever get the sense that, like, we probably are going to concede, or we're probably not going to be able to hold on?
Not really. Like to your point, yeah. I Benfica never really looked like they were gonna be super dangerous. I feel like they definitely didn't play as aggressive as I think they would have, especially when they went down 1-0. Like Sporting played very well, like containing the game and then just kind of using the times they got the ball to their advantage. But yeah, I do think to your point too about not having Padinha there and Coates, that it has in the past, right? When we are missing those guys, it is noticeable. But just the way, I think this has a lot to do with Ruben Amorim, the way he like trains these players and gets them ready. I was extremely surprised on how well Ugarte came in and played that game. Like he did not really make any mistakes. He was our destroyer in the midfield. And I actually think like with him in there and the way he was playing, it allowed like Mateus Nunes to be a little more freely and go forward when he could. Because we weren't worried about like the counterattack after. Like I don't know, the guy just blew me away on how good he was. And also like our back line. When you tell me that you're gonna have Inacio, I don't know if you guys remember last year, but he got the red card against Braga when we needed to win. And we ended up still winning that game because of Mateus Nunes and like but like he used to make, and he still does make dumb mistakes, but like that day he didn't. And then like you have Neto next to him, who I thought Neto sucked, and like he's actually been getting back into form because he's been playing great on the last 2 games that he played. He actually killed it. And then losing Fidal early in the game, it's like it's all like things that happened, and like I don't know, I was a little worried because our back line was kind of makeshift already. So I was a little worried, but I mean Benfica just didn't take advantage where they could, I think, and kind of screwed yourselves in the end.
Fidal came off later in the game, wasn't it?
It was like
54th
yeah,
minute.
Oh,
it was still
54th. Okay,
yeah,
just
it's still
after half.
pretty early. Yeah.
Yeah. And at that time it was still 1-0 when he came off. Sporting scored in the 62nd and the 68th.
I
Go
will
ahead.
say like
Another thing, what I'm feeling with Sporting is, and I think Ruben Amorim is taking is implementing, is they implementing a lot of what Benfica was doing before the Jesus came along, right? They're going for the young players. They're motivating them to play like Paul just said about Ugarte, 20 years old, put him in the midfield against Benfica away, and he shines like this. This reminds me of when we struggled in back in the day, and we lost the midfield, and we put Renato Sanchez, and then he shined. That has a lot to do with the coach. 100% the coach. The coach motivates these players, gives them confidence, and then puts them in there because he believes in them. In our case, we don't have that anymore. We used to have it, and then it all went downhill when we started had those bad results where we. It's like Luis Piera was trying to do all academy, and then they had a few bad results, and then all of a sudden the academy went down the freaking drain, and we went to buy players that cost 25 million.
Do you think, Oscar? I'll ask you this question: were you, and Paul, feel free to add your opinion from the other side of the fence. I don't know about you, but I sensed to get some concern, and even yesterday's game as well. I sense some fatigue and some lack of being able to keep up from Weigl and João Mario. I feel like they're not as impactful as they were at the beginning of the season. Weigl was playing out of his mind to begin, and against Sporting, right? Again, every time Mateus Nunes picked the ball up, he had 30 yards to run into by himself, right? I mean, that last goal is as evidence of it. And then you got Ender Almeida, trying to make a last ditch tackle to keep up with him, but it's starting to concern me that, one, we don't necessarily have an adequate replacement there. Paulo Bernardo is a name that's been thrown around. Yes, he's a young, exciting player that's been doing well on the B team. We won't know what he's capable of doing on the A team until he plays regularly, right? But I think the stigma associated with the Seychelles is what's kind of giving fans that uplift of he's a good replacement. But do we have really an adequate replacement there? And do you see a similar concern that I'm seeing, or is it just me?
Me?
Yeah.
We don't have a replacement, and it was expected. Like last year, we had the trouble we couldn't find a number 8. A number 8 came along because Mario's an awesome number 8, but we are playing almost 3 games a week, like with the Champions League, with the Taça de Portugal. We have a lot of competitions. We're still in every single competition, so in a lot of traveling, a lot of going outside the country. We can't depend on Weigl and João Mario to carry us through until the end of the season. That's not going to happen. And we're seeing the fatigue already, or you're only in December. Come January, February, what are we going to do once those guys basically need rest? I don't know. Do we have Mate that can play? He seems like he's slower than I am with the ball. We have Tarabt. He seems like he's a helicopter. Like I don't trust him because he's more. I think he'll get a red faster than he scores a goal, and that's it. That's a fact. So I don't know. We don't have a replacement there. And then we have Pizzi, who they stuck in the midfield, and he's not a player that can defend. He's not a player that can play that position, the CM position. He's a player that can be pushed up a number 10 on the sides where Rafa or Everton play, but not in the middle. So no, we don't have a replacement for any of those guys.
Paul, did you see similar, or did you see anything similar in terms of like João Mario, for example? And I know that at the beginning of the season, I think maybe 10, 15 games in, right, there was some statistics out about like João Mario was already halfway to the number of minutes that he had played at Sporting the entire season last year. So obviously he rotated a little bit more last year. Looking at his stats last year in the league, he was only not in the team for the league 4 times. Once he was hurt, once he was ineligible. I'm not sure what the hell that's all about. And then 2 times he was a sub not used. Right. So he, in total, in all competitions last year, he played 2,333 minutes. And this year he has, let me just bring this up here. Let's see, all seasons. This year he has, drum roll please, 1,810 already in all competitions, right? So he's 400 minutes off, 500 minutes off from an entire season last year with 34 appearances, right? So obviously Sporting wasn't in Europe last year, so he had less appearances. He's got 24 appearances already this year, right? So we're not even halfway through the season, and he's almost got as many games played and as many minutes as he played last year. But were there signs of that you saw as a Sporting fan seeing him regularly that, we wouldn't have seen?
You're saying like in the game against Sporting,
No, in terms of like his fatigue, did you see him drop off last year? Were there any concerns?
Well, so I did know last year, João Mario was great, and I think a lot of it has to do with the amount of games he played. Right, we got to rest pretty much consistently, and then on like cup games, Ruben Amorim would rotate the young guys in there, when he could. Obviously, when we were playing like Portus and Bragas and Benficas and stuff, he would have the studs in there. But I did not see it. I thought João Mario was just as important as Paulinho last year. They both dominated the midfield, and they played well. I do think the way that they play now with the three backs and only the two midfielders and the wing backs, they do a lot more running than your average midfielder. So if he's already has that many minutes, it's not surprising that he's fatigued, right? Like you have to manage your players, because like it is a lot more running. You have to cover more ground because you don't have as many people in the midfield. So I'm not surprised he's fatigued, but I did not see it last year just because of the number of games we had.
Oscar, thoughts on Ender Almeida on that right side of a three back?
I don't know. I'm not convinced yet. I think he's a solid player. I think he fills a lot of spots. But I do think he's with Veríssimo being out, he is our best option. I don't think Morato coming in is a better option just because it moves a lot of pieces around, and we don't have anybody else. So I really think Ender Almeida is our best option. I think he needs to get adapted to a 3-back role because he's used to playing a 4-back. But I can't see him doing anything different than that.
Yeah, I'm slightly concerned coming back from such a big injury. I think he's an adequate replacement. Maybe he's still not up to par in terms of speed, but his lack of pace concerns me, and I think it was there for everyone to see on that Matheus Nunes goal where he got sucked out and tried to man mark. I don't know who the hell was playing on the left side at the time. Maybe Nuno Santos may have come in by then. But he basically got sucked out to the sideline, tried to man mark, and then he got screwed because Matheus Nunes just basically ran straight down 495 and put it in the back of the net.
But Matheus Nunes was doing that to everybody, not only to Ender Almeida.
Correct. No, I agree.
In the midfield, when he put in Paulinho through ball, he legit got away from the two center mids that we had with ease, just with pace. So I don't think we can say Ender Almeida can keep up with him. I don't think anybody could.
No, I agree. He was definitely a level above most, if not all, at least from an intensity level in that game. Paul, anything else that you would like to add as the winner of this match before we go to the MVPs?
No, I think I pretty much covered it. I won't rub it in too much for you guys because it's so early in the season, but you are 4 points back now. You got Porto later on this month, so good luck. Hopefully you're not too far away.
No. Who do you want it to win? Porto or Benfica?
I want to draw.
A draw? Porto's 1 point behind you guys.
Dude, I want both you guys to lose points.
No, they're tied, aren't they? Yeah, they're tied in points.
They're tied. So why would you not want Benfica to win?
Because he hates us. He hates us, damn it.
I honestly always want Porto and Benfica to draw. If I had to pick a winner, obviously it would be Benfica because you guys are so far behind us. But it's only 4 points, so I'd rather have a draw and have more points from Benfica and some points from Porto.
I agree with Paul because if Benfica wins, then they're both on their ass, right? Whereas if they tie, yeah.
Well, it depends.
If Benfica wins, we're still 4 points behind, and Porto be 3 behind.
Yeah,
if Sporting wins.
I would rather both teams lose points always. Every time Porto and Benfica play, I say draw. It doesn't matter. Well, obviously it matters where the points are, but it's so early in the season. I want to draw.
You're just afraid of Benfica more than you are Porto. It's okay, admit it.
I mean, honestly, after that game, I'm not. I'm very surprised you guys won.
That's a good question. Looking at your competition, or looking at the competition amongst the top three, right? Because, like you said, it's still early. We're not even halfway through the season. I think there's 21 games left to play. Let's see, Jornada 13. Yeah, so there's 34 jornadas. There's 21 games to play. There's a lot to be played, especially with the teams in Europe. Things could change. January transfer window. But looking at what you've seen, does one concern you more than the other?
Yes, and I do not watch Porto and Benfica regularly, but after that game, Porto scares me much more than Benfica. I was very surprised how bad you guys were.
that one game, we give it to you, but I mean, we're only 4 points back. I mean,
I'll be honest. I don't watch you guys consistently. I really don't. And to be based on all the hype in our group text and how good Benfica has been playing. When I watched that game, I honestly thought 1-1. I was like giving Sporting a chance to tie. I had no confidence that we were gonna go in and dominate like we did. I was very surprised, and it actually made it even better based on all the shit talking that was going on before. But
I don't think any of us expected that. So it was a surprise for all of us.
Even you guys literally made Paulinho look like Ronaldo out there, fucking scoring.
Oh yeah, talk to me about Paulinho. You've been talking shit about him all season.
So you said that this was the one game Benfica played like shit. This was well, I'll be honest. Paulinho off the ball is always good, or when he receives the ball. But he actually looked very good this game, and I don't know if it's because you guys were tired or what, but Paulinho looked great. I was very impressed with him as well.
You just don't see the workload that he has.
No, I do.
He does a lot off the ball.
If we ask Benfica's midfield looked like shit because you guys were running. You guys always looked like you guys had 3 guys to ours 2, right? And you guys only had 2 midfielders, but you looks like you always had 3. Paulinho came back a lot, and he helps that midfield tremendously. That you guys don't give credit for.
No, I actually do. I remember when I was on here before the game, I said off the ball he's great. It's that he misses too many goals, but that day he was striking well again. Paulinho misses a lot of chances, and that's what annoys me. It's not his work rate. I think he works very hard, and I know what the reason why he starts Paulinho, and he does a lot of the stuff he's supposed to do, but he misses a lot of goals. That's what annoys me. But that even lately, Paulinho's been playing a lot better lately. I don't know if he was coming off an injury. I know that he messed up his knee, and maybe just getting back to 100% fully, but he has been playing a lot better and scoring more. So hopefully he continues this route.
I want to hear this from a Sportingista. What do you give me your thoughts on PZ?
So
honestly speaking, Jay already spoke his truth. Jay not Jay Tank, but Jay Silva. PZ to him scares him the most. When it comes to playing Benfica, right? And for some reason Jesus doesn't see it, and a lot of Benfiquistas thinks he's washed and blah 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 blah. But he comes in and he makes a difference.
He does. I agree. He doesn't scare me the most. I think Rafa still scares me the most on Benfica, but PZ definitely. So I actually thought it was funny that he came in and scored a goal right at the end, just to kind of give you more fuel for your fire. Yeah. But then I don't know if you're going to talk about. Well, you are going to talk about the game, but he played the other game yesterday, and he does make a difference, and it's pretty obvious. Jorge Jesus is I don't know. It's when I always say some coaches they don't know how to adapt to the current times, or make the sometimes they bring in these guys and want to use them, but the guys that are there are good enough, and they just
it's called teimoso.
Yeah,
that's what it is. I've been saying all season, teimoso, and I think he puts it on his head that this team is better without him. And then when he's against the ropes, who's he fall back on? Oh, let's put our Capitan talking the day before. Let's put our Capitan winning, taking us through to the Champions League. That's what he does. He's against the ropes, and he has nobody else to fall back on, and he gets Pizzi to go in. That's what it pisses me off about this coach. But
we'll talk about Pizzi in this next topic. To close this one off, who was your MVP, Paul?
So I want to give 3 shout outs and then 1 MVP. So first of all, the whole team played well, but Boru to me is an all-star. He had a great game. Ugarte
best
also
right back in the league.
Huh?
He's the best right back in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then Ugarte, to me, needs a big shutout because, like I said, 20-year-old going to decided to lose, not much minutes, and absolutely dominated. But the MVP is Matheus Nunes, pretty clear. The kid had like probably the game of his career, and he absolutely killed it.
Oscar, who was your MVP?
Well, for Benfica, none. But
It
well,
doesn't have to
I'll
be
get.
for Benfica. It could be
No,
overall.
obviously Nunes, Matheus Nunes is the MVP. But for Benfica, I'm gonna give it to Pizzi for coming in and scoring a goal last week.
He got a 6.7 on goal point. Closest to that was João Mari with a 6.2. Matheus Nunes got a 7.7. Sarabia 7.0. Neto 6.6. Inácio 6.4. Ugarte 6.4. Porro 6.5. The lowest for Sporting was Fedal with a 4.9. Lowest for Benfica was Weigl with a 4.3. So past it. It's one game. That was all it was. Let's move on. And now we got Champions League. So Benfica comes into the game after that disappointing loss. Benfica needing to beat Dynamo and needing some help in Munich. We got it. Oscar, I'll start with you. What were your thoughts on this game, and a game that, in my opinion, the result says a different story from the performance?
Yeah, I agree. It was a game we had to win. We absolutely had to win, and we looked like we never got it going. Like it didn't look. I was expecting Benfica full on, like chance after chance after chance, but we saw Benfica first half and we saw Benfica second half. All right. And I'm not going to say names, but first half Pizzi played, second half Pizzi came out at 56 minutes.
Hold on, but let me ask you something. Yeah. Did you think that Pizzi had a good game? Because in my opinion, I feel like he wasn't influential.
He didn't have an excellent game, but him being present makes Benfica play differently. It's when we like, and I've said this before, when we're playing a team, we're going to have a lot more possession. He makes a difference because he's good.
But we didn't have a lot more possession. We had 39%.
I know, but because we scored early in the game, right? So like obviously then we set back. That's how Benfica does all the time. They score early, and that's why maybe Pizzi came out second half. I don't know, because when we had the ball, like it feels like we know what to do with the ball when he's playing, and maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm just thinking too much. But second half he came out and it looked like we were just kicking the ball up front for our forwards to chase and defending, kicking the ball up front and defending. Like that's how second half went. Second half we played just like we played almost like against Sporting, and that's how I felt. It felt like we had no ideas. But we won this game. It was most important was to win this game, and hoping that Bayern won, and we're through to the next phase. Now I'm scared as fuck, but okay,
we'll get to that. And just to mention the lineup, Vlaco Dimos in the back, Vertonghen, Otamendi, and Almeida again, Grimaldo, João Mário, Weigl, Gilberto came in on the right for Lázaro, Rafa and Yaremchuk and Pizzi up top. Thoughts on that? I guess the thing that pisses me off is, right, you mentioned that we looked like we had no ideas. And I thought first 2 minutes, like we came in guns blazing. We could have scored right away. Yaremchuk had that chance. Rafa misses that shot, which... fine, you can argue that it was a clear chance, right? He has the net to shoot at. He at least needs to put that on target. I think he comes in, the ball's bouncing, he jumps up and hits it. But the thing that frustrates me the most is, and the thing that frustrated me the most in that first half especially, was that player from Dynamo's down, right? And Dynamo's not kicking the ball out. And Benfica's players are literally just like standing around like in anticipation, like, all right, the game's stopped. They're going to, right? And all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, their guy has a chance at the top of the six, which I literally don't know how the hell he misses that chance. Like, absolutely shocking. And we could have gone down 1-0 at that time. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, what are your thoughts on the fact that, like, we're that easily able to just completely disconnect from the game, right? And if we find ourselves down 1-0, I don't know if we come back.
I don't either. That chance when he missed, I legit was like,
bad.
How many games have we come back from behind? 1. Oh shit, could this be 2? And then he just puts it over. That to me was worse than the miss the Brian Ruiz. What's his name? Brian Ruiz,
yeah,
had against us.
100% worse.
Because Brian Ruiz, you can tell the goalie still touched the ball to make it go backwards, right? and he just missed it. It went up. This one, legit, the ball was on a platter, on the ground, not bouncing. All he had to do is put it forward.
If he trips and falls, he knocks it in the net.
Yes,
like
yes.
I don't know how he doesn't even hit the net, which was absolutely shocking.
So that chance, it basically gave us a lifeline, because it would have been so much. It would have been a legit, like my nails would have been like down right now.
Paul, what were your thoughts on the game from what you were able to see? And Luis here, un abraço para Luis. He says Gilberto. So we have the joke in the Portuguese chat where we say Gilberto is like pão com queijo, like that sandwich that isn't really the best, but it's always there to kind of help your appetite. And he's slowly becoming a double bacon cheeseburger with his performances. So thoughts on what you've seen or what you saw, Paul?
So I don't know. I don't know if it's like Benfica's players not like loving their coach or not playing to their ability, but I feel like Dynamo, all they had to play for in this game was the money, and they wanted it more than Benfica, is what it felt like. And I agree. So I was watching the game like on my phone. I was working at the same time, so I didn't see like play for play.
He's saying that because his boss is probably watching, just in case.
No, but I did watch like the first like 15 minutes. And I agree, Rafa should have done better. Right at the beginning, I thought you guys were going to go up 1-0 right away. Yarmouk like went on with the goalie. He hits it like, I mean, it was a good shot, but the guy got his hands on it. But anyway, and then the play that you just brought up, when the guys, I was blown. I'm like, how the fuck do you miss it? You're a professional soccer player. Like literally, you could miss it that in so many ways, and it still would go in. But right when he missed that, I'm like, this team fucking blows. Like Benfica's gonna like steamroll them. Then you guys got the first goal, and the second goal was another, like, granted the guy's
fortunate.
Like, he's reacting to the play, right? But the ball just bounces up, he kicks it back, and Gilberto's just there, finishes it off. But then I thought it was over, right? But then second half, when they were all over you guys, and I think you guys were lucky they didn't score a goal. And I think it's just, they're not that team definitely isn't the greatest, clearly, because if they were, you guys probably would have lost that game. But I think Benfica was fortunate to come up with the result, but you know what? Good, congratulate you guys for making to the final 16. But
and I have a question for Mike. Mike, you were very critical of Gilberto at the beginning.
I was.
You used to say, like, I even questioned this on the pod. I'm like, what is so wrong with Gilberto? Like, what's he doing wrong that you guys like criticize him so much? And you said he's not Benfica caliber. You like he seems like a player that like could be a third option or whatnot, but he's not Benfica caliber. Right now, he's probably our best Benfica option for that position.
He 150% is our best option and we have quite a few options for that position. And again, it goes back to, for me, he just comes across as a player like Maxi Pereira was, in the sense of the way he plays, right? Like, he's not quick. He runs his balls off. He works hard. He'll get into a challenge. Right. But at times, right, I guess in most cases, right, heart and effort isn't everything that you need, right? If it came down to that and how bad you want it, right? Like, we could go play for the teams that we love, right? Because we're passionate about it and we're going to run our socks off. But I would probably argue, and I'll turn the question around on you as well, is one, I will 100%, and I've admitted it, a few podcasts ago, that he has improved significantly. And 100% he's our best option in that position today. But then I'll turn it around on you is, do you think, since JJ's gotten there, so a year and a half now, I would probably argue that, I know we've talked about Weigl a lot, but I would probably argue that he's probably been the one that has improved the most since JJ's arrived. Would you agree?
Improved the most?
From when he started, right? So from what we saw to what we see today. And like, when he comes in, he's pretty consistent, like, especially lately. I think last year he was pretty inconsistent with some games, but I feel like this year, especially, he's come up with some goals, right? He had that goal against Aroca at home that we won 2-1 when we were in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, that we won. Again, yesterday, scoring a goal in the Champions League.
I think gotten better, yes. And I think Gilberto is the player that's improved the most with him. But we can go back and say there's probably 4 or 5 that decreased with JJ being.
And I'm not And I think you're answering the question with the mindset or the context that I'm trying to give credit to JJ. Take that, put that aside. We'll get to that later. What I'm saying is player for player in terms of what we saw from day one to what we see today, right?
Yeah,
And
Gilberto.
would you say that he's probably the best, the one that's improved most significantly since he joined?
I think so. I think so. Just because we really haven't, since just JJ joined. Who do we have to compare? Because everybody else was there. Otamendi was
Weigl,
Otamendi.
I would probably say
Weigl was
Weigl.
already there.
Correct, but I'm saying since JJ joined, right? So in the last year and a half, players, right? Like the goal of a coach is to improve players, right? And I'll turn the question around on Paul to just kind of get the same context on the other side, right? So for us, since JJ joined a year and a half ago, who would you say are the 3 players that you would say they were at one level last year, right? And as of today, I can see clear improvements. I would say Weigl, Gilberto, and probably Rafa.
But I don't agree with Rafa. Rafa's been a beast, but he was a beast already before JJ.
He was, but I feel like he's playing in a different style. I feel like he's creating a hell of a lot more chances now than he was before. Like I feel like his chance creation is more consistent now than it was.
I agree with everybody else but Rafa. Rafa,
who would be your third?
Since JJ joined,
yeah,
I think Grimaldo.
Fair, that's a good shout. I would agree with that. He's been good this season.
Grimaldo has been. I think that playing up the position up as a wing back is helped him tremendously because we used to think he sucked. He was like not even a left back anymore.
I agree, Paul. Who would you say since Ruben Amorim joined last year, from what you saw at the beginning of last year to players that you see today, who would you say have significantly improved? And I would say on the other side of the fence, and I don't know if Oscar, if you'll agree, but I would say Coates is a clear one for me.
He's my number one. Because I was going to say, can you start with before, right when because he joined last year. So like before Ruben Amorim, Coates was like a joke. He scored more own goals than whatever, and now he's like one of the best center backs in the league. So clear number one of who's improved the most under him. A lot of the guys are new on the team, to be honest, since he's been there. So it's hard to kind of.
I think you have a lot. I think Mateus Nunes is one. I think,
but he wasn't there. But he wasn't there before him. So
right. But he's improved his play.
Yeah, from how he started last year to the way he is today.
Last year was Palhinha and João Mário, right? João Mário came out and now Nunes.
Porto was nasty last year too.
Right,
he was good. Yeah, he was good last year.
But I'm talking about improving. Porto has been consistently good, right?
Yeah,
I'm talking about improving. I think Mateus Nunes is a beast. I think Palhinha with Ruben Amorim's been there. He's made him one of the world class. Yeah. Coates has become world class. You got a lot of them.
I mean, yeah, if you go based on like where they were, and then it's pretty much think about it. It's you can say almost the whole squad. Bot came on.
That's another one, yeah.
Yeah, he if you want to.
But he's playing at a completely different atmosphere, like stratosphere, and compared to he was good at Famalicão, but what Ruben Amorim has managed to do with him, and there obviously there's other aspects, right? There's better players around you. There's different conditions, right? Like that all plays into it, but. Like the way he's playing, you have to give a lot of credit to the coach, and he's playing at a completely different level than I or probably most people would have even thought he could have reached based on what we saw from Famalicão.
Right, I completely agree. Yeah, so if you want to go with guys that either have started under him or were there before him, the top 3 would probably be Coates, Pot, and Palhinha, and then I would give Mateus Nunes is going to be a stud if he keeps going the way he's going. Like he has a lot of technical skill and can clearly finish as well. He scores important goals, so he's gonna have a bright future. The problem is he's probably not going to something.
Mateus Nunes is to me Renato Sanchez, right? You just has to make smarter decisions when it comes to when he goes and where he goes.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's still young, so I agree that a lot of these young players make a jump early on because of the dollar signs and then end up regretting it. I'm going to ask you guys this question because I see a lot of comments in the chat. Who would you say is the player that has improved the least or has decreased in terms of capabilities and development I'll start with you, Paul. And my vote for the Sporting side, from an unbiased opinion, would be Jovan. I feel like he's a player that's had so much hype, and I know he's had injuries and whatnot, but I feel like he's that guy that everyone talked about was going to basically be on a rocket ship to the moon, and I feel like he's not been able to like grab hold of his opportunities.
Yeah, I would agree, and it's more because of who we signed just kind of outshines him. It's like Jovan could be a forward or a striker, but he plays on the wing more, like as a forward, left mid, whatever. He definitely has had his like times that he's been nasty, but he's very inconsistent. He'll have a game where he's like MVP, and then have a game where he's doesn't even look like he's on the field. So I would agree, and I think getting Sarabia basically made him be like deeper in the bench, right? Yeah. He's not going to start over Sarabia or Pot. So I think Jovan won't last too much longer on this team, because I think he does want to be more of a consistent starter, and he's not going to get it. So I would agree with that.
I agree with that. Who would you say, Paul, is the player that you feel, from again what you've seen, that has either failed to meet the expectations or was better and is not as good now on Benfica?
I wasn't even thinking about this. Can you go to like your guys?
Yeah, I'll go to Oscar.
I'm surprised Paul didn't say Paulinho for Sporting, because
really?
he even criticized about him with the whole.
That's true.
Paulinho is playing better.
I think he's playing better. Yeah.
No, yeah, but you said who hasn't improved under Amorim.
Oh, you're saying hasn't improved? But I think he's improved since last year.
And Braga is a beast.
Correct, but it's a different.
Not when he came though. So he was a beast in Braga, and then he got hurt, and then he sucked, and then we got him on his down.
But this should be a guy that you would name as hasn't improved. He the last few games he's played better, but you've been criticized of him. Like you say, you can leave. You can leave. He sucks. I have chats. I can prove. I screenshot him.
I think that he's like a neutral. Like he's a guy that hasn't really improved. Well, he's improved the last couple games, but not like it's like I wouldn't say Paulinho is back to where he used to be. It's one of those things where we'll see. But Jovan is clear that when Bruno Fernandes left, Jovan was supposed to be like the next up and coming Sportingista, to be like the big money guy, and then like he got his time and he just didn't take advantage of it. But I mean, I could say Paulinho as if you do like a top three, but Paulinho's been like one of those guys that hasn't lived up to his potential, and he was injured to his defense. Maybe he's just like now he's like 100%, and he has been playing better lately. So kept him out of my mouth.
Fair. Oscar, who would you say is the player that has decreased in capabilities or influence
in Benfica?
Yeah.
Well, we have like 3, 4. Possibly 5.
In the chat, we got.
I did find one. I didn't say one now.
Ooh.
I can say one before you guys. Yeah, it's Everton. Everton was definitely. I think a huge hype, and he is worthless. I think.
Well, we talked about Andrés Jesus, right? Like towards the end of last year, he started playing well, and he's had a game here that, like a game against Braga, we won 6-1. He looked like a stud. So he's had a game here that he's just not consistent whatsoever. And to me, that for a guy that costs 20 million it's not enough. It's not enough to play one game here and there. It's just when we're doing goleadas is when he shows up. He's probably the guy that I would say, damn, like your time is legit. Like it's coming. You have to show up or you're gone. Like soon.
He's on the edge of the cliff that you always talk about.
Absolutely. But his cliff is not as high as Sporting's, but it's still pretty high.
We just keep going up. So
yeah, but don't worry about it. Like I said,
the fall's bigger.
Oxygen mask is on because you're way too high.
In the chat, we got SLBES says that Sublinha, Ferro, and Pizzi are his 3.
It's the guy you know.
Manny says Oscar. I agree. He blows. Manny's also said that Rafa sucks. Luis in the comments also said definitely not Darwin or Cebolinha in reference to which ones have improved the most. So I would imagine that his choices for least improved or least impactful are Cebolinha and Darwin. Fernando Ricardo Gonçalves, if JJ had the same attitude of Amorim, join young talent from the academy with expert players, would Benfica get better? What do you guys think?
I think so. I see Sporting throwing in Bragança. I see Porto throwing
He's good.
Very good. And I see Porto throwing in Vitinha and then Fabio Vieira. And you see the Vitinha is almost a starter in Porto, and he plays Champions Leagues against Atletico Madrid on a must-win game. Like that's the confidence that coach gives to these young talents, right? That are good. You see players on the U21, right? I watch Benfica the Portugal U21 team, and we have Benfica players there that there are superstars, right? But they don't have a chance in the A team like Porto and Sporting is giving these guys. So I agree. Benfica should throw these guys in there. It resulted when we threw in even Ferro, who today everybody talks shit about. When he came in and played Ruben Dias, they look like a stud. And people even saying that Ferro is going to be better than Ruben Dias that year. They were saying that Ferro is.
I was one of them.
Yeah, Ferro is more technical.
Yep.
Ferro has a height. He's good with the ball on his feet. He comes out playing. And people were praising Ferro, and then all of a sudden, Jesus comes along and he becomes shit.
Paul, I got a question here for you from Luis. He lives in Spain, so he follows Spanish media. I hear Spanish Real Madrid fans saying that Sporting is their favorite opponent for the next round. I believe they may be surprised if that happens. How do you feel about that?
I mean, realistically, Real Madrid. I feel like, to be honest, between Sporting and Benfica, everyone wants one of those two in the next round. Based on the teams that are there. But I said it, I think, in our chat. I think aside from City and Bayern, everyone else, it's a long shot for some of them, but it's a chance that we could take it because Sporting we don't concede a lot. The only games that we did, right, was against Ajax. One didn't matter, and one we were missing Coates, which clearly Ruben fixed that based on the game with Benfica, but it's a long shot. I have high hopes for Sporting, but I think it's Lille is like the easiest first. That's the guys that I want for the next round.
And that's a good segue into this as we talk about Champions League as a whole. Again, two Portuguese teams in the round of 16, Benfica and Sporting. First time two teams are there without Porto being one of them. We've got some difficult opponents ahead of us, and I'm going to bring the graphic up here on the screen. I wanted to get your thoughts on kind of how you think things played out. Did they play out similar to how you expected? And Paul, I'm going to open it up with you to ask the question that you asked us in the chat that I asked you not to answer so we could position it here. And for those of you listening or watching, give us your thought on this hypothetical that Paul's going to throw out there in the chat, if you will. Go ahead.
So you want me to ask the question here?
Of course.
Oh, so the question was, would you rather make it to the round of 16 in Champions League and get absolutely smoked by a Bayern, City, or whoever you get at Liverpool, or get eliminated from Champions League, end up in Europa, and end up either making a long run or winning the Europa League?
So what we do know, so I want to make sure that we delineate here what we know and what we don't know. So we know, in your hypothetical, is we know that we're going to get, a Man City, a Bayern in the first round of the 16. So that's a given, right? We know that. So the option is, do we want to go up against the Manchester City or a Bayern, right? In us, meaning Benfica or Sporting. Or would we rather roll the dice of going into Europa League, knowing that we're going to, make a deep run with the potential of winning the competition? Is that right?
Right.
Wait. No, the question wasn't like that. The question was facing a Bayern or City and getting smashed.
Yeah,
not like taking our chances.
Correct. So that's an unwritten, I guess, that I was basically throwing out there, because I don't think any Portuguese team has the capability to compete with a Bayern or a City, in my opinion. But
yeah, right. But just say
so
the result.
Clarify. So clarify
say,
is we know we're going to get smashed by a City or a Bayern in the round of 16 in the Champions League. Or if you're given the option, do you not want to take that route? And instead you want to turn right and you want to go to the Europa League, knowing that you can make a deep run and potentially win the competition. Have we set the playing field here? Everyone knows the expectation.
Mhm.
Accurate. Okay, so
Correct,
everyone
yeah.
in the chat, give us your thoughts. What would you rather do? Oscar, I'm going to start with you since Paul asked the question. What would you prefer to do?
That's tough because if I want to go be in the Champions League, but in the round of 16 and play Man City or Bayern, like we play Bayern or in a group stage, but in this case we can't get Bayern. But if we did, this is a hypothetical, right? If we got Bayern and we lost 6-0 at home or away, and then we lost 5-0 at home, and we're out by losing 11-0, like I think another Portuguese team did that against Bayern one of the years. I don't know what year it was. Did anybody ring a bell, Paul?
I was trying to figure out if he was being sarcastic or not.
First of all, it was 12-1 aggregate, and that after you're done. So finish your.
No.
Oscar, just to say, we didn't do much better this year.
I know. No, I know, but I'm just saying, like we go to the round of 16, we play two games against the Bayern, we lose, by 12-1 aggregate, right? Or we go to Europa League and make a deep run into the final and possibly win. I mean, what makes me happier is going to the final and most likely winning, since we haven't won Europa League, right? But what do I want Benfica to be at? I want Benfica to be in the Champions League. So I can't answer
I get that, but the way I look at it, and Jay in our chat, not Jay from the podcast, but Porto fan Jay, his answer, he said, was basically straightforward, which was you always compete to be in the best competitions. And I get that, right? But would you rather, right? And even just taking out of the equation, like deep run, right? Would you rather, and does your answer change? If someone gave you the option and said, listen, I'm going to give you either round of 16 and you get eliminated in the round of 16, or you make it to the final, but I'm not going to tell you what the result is, right? Oh, the final's open. I would rather, I get it. And there's people here in the comments, Luis, saying, the money that you make from making it in the round of 16 is better. I agree with that, right? It's a lot of money. But I would, at the end of the day, right, we want to win titles. We want to compete to win titles, right? And while Europa League's not the Champions League, right? But I think winning competitions like the Europa League help to build a winning mentality. I would rather, if you gave me the option, and people might not agree with me, if I had the option of get eliminated in the round of 16 of the Champions League or go to the final without knowing the result of the Europa League, I would take the final of the Europa League.
Now that's the thing. I would go towards the UEFA Champions League route if I didn't know we're gonna get smashed.
I agree with that. But that's not the hypothetical here.
Right. If somebody said you're facing Bayern next round, you don't know the result, or you're going to go towards you're going to go far in the UEFA League or the Europa League, I'll take my chances with Bayern. But if somebody guaranteed me that I'm going to get smashed like 12-1 aggregate, or go deep then I'm going to go in the Europa. That's
But wait. What if it wasn't winning the Europa, just going deep in the Europa?
Deep, because if I'm gonna get smashed 12-1 in aggregate type of thing, or go deep in Europa, I'm gonna go deep in Europa, and I don't want to get embarrassed. I'm gonna use people make fun of you guys.
You almost live that in real life. You got embarrassed anyway by Bayern, and so you would rather end up in Europa.
Right, but I don't want. I do losing. So anyway, 12-1 has been a meme for you guys for the last 20 years.
Yeah, but first of all, I don't get. So the reason why I brought this up is because I remember very clearly when this happened. I'm pretty sure that year Benfica did not make the they ended up in Europa.
That. But nobody remembers it, only because you guys got smashed.
But I remember it because it was similar to right now. Say Benfica didn't make it, right? Sporting made it to the final 16, and I was rubbing it in your faces. You guys didn't make it, right? And then Sporting got smashed in the first round by Bayern, and I was like, I would much rather qualify out of my group in Champions League than end up in Europa, coming in third in my group in Champions League. And then whatever happens in Europa happens. My argument was that you guys did not do good. We're not good enough in Champions League, ended up in a weaker league. And whatever you guys did. But my argument was I would much rather get out of my group in Champions League in the final 16. And I don't give a shit what the result is over not making the final 16, because it's to me, it's dude, you just made it with all these heavy hitters. It's already an accomplishment. who gives a shit what the result is in the next round? If you get a Bayern and you know you're going to get smashed, you just go in there and play. And I will say, I hope we don't get Bayern, obviously. But I don't think it'll be 12-1. It might be like 8-1.
But I will say, and I'm going to read some of the comments here because I think some of them are interesting. So SLBES says we can have a good shot against Ajax or Man U. Luis obviously said the money route in terms of getting into the round of 16. João Miguel says Benfica has gone to Europa in many years, and we looked and were looked at as failures, but now that Porto is there, it's glorified. Fernando, being last 16 means money and pride, 90% first and 10% the rest. We need money, so the next round of the Champions League, unless you can guarantee a final, fair. Tony says final 8 doesn't matter who you get, you just got to play to win. That's fair. Joaninha says ultimately going further in the Champions League is always good for the country. If we knew we were getting smashed by a Bayern or City, I would definitely pick Europa, but you don't know you're going to get Bayern or City. I would always pick champions, but you're saying knowing we will lose. A better question would be not knowing who you would get in the Champions.
Exactly. That's what I said. If I didn't know who I was going to get and just like take our chance, even
Oh,
if it's
100%.
a Bayern, but even if it's Bayern or City, but we don't know we're going to get smashed. Say it's like unknown. I still take that chance because look, we played against Bayern and we went to the 80th minute competing with them. You know, like away.
And obviously knockout games are different.
So let's just say right now, right? If you guys end up with Bayern or City in this draw,
well, we can't get Bayern.
We can't get.
Well,
Bayern
I'm just
City.
saying, if you were going to get Bayern, based on how they're playing, would you rather end up getting one of them right now or going to Europa?
I'd rather get them because I don't know the result. But if he told me, are we going to get smashed? That I don't want.
I mean, what if you could get Bayern? They did smash you twice already.
We don't get Bayern.
I'm saying if you could right now, you know you're going to get smashed again.
Well, we I said, the first game, if we didn't like basically score that own goal, would have been a 1-0 game. We had our chances.
I honestly don't get, based on like a pride thing, right? And like just like love for the team in sport, how you would not want to be in the biggest competition for it. It makes no sense to me.
No,
what do you mean?
Paul,
so you're saying, Paul, you wouldn't take the Europa League route, is what you're saying?
Never. I would never.
You want to be in Champions League, whether you lose by 100-0 or nothing.
Yeah, it would not matter at all to me.
So you would rather be eliminated in the round of 16 of a Champions League than to go to potentially win a final of a Europa League?
If you told me, right, that I was either going to, if you switch this around and said I could get to the final round of 16 and get absolutely smashed, or win the Europa League, so the other option is winning the Europa League, I would probably take that. But not knowing that you're going to win it, so like just probably making a long run and getting smashed, I would much rather just get smashed in Champions League. If I was guaranteed to win Europa, it's different. Just like if I didn't know I was going to get smashed, it's different.
But yeah, but like I get we make points for Portugal. Like just imagine this: we make points for Portugal, making farther in the Champions League, right? Portugal, the club makes money. The Portugal gets points, but then the tabloids of the world, when Benfica loses 12-1 to a Bayern, are the tabloids, and that's what sticks to people's mind. Portugal is a joke compared to all the big ballers, right? Like that to me is embarrassing. Like why are you even in this competition if you guys getting smashed 12-1 to a Champions League team? So to me, that's the only reason I wouldn't want to get smashed in Champions League, and I'd rather take the route of Europa. But not knowing that I'm getting smashed, I'll take that route any day.
I agree. And again, it's a tough one, right? Like obviously everyone wants to be in the Champions League. I get that. But your chances are better, right? And obviously the draw can go every which way. You don't know who you're going to get. Again, knockout games are very different than group stage games, right? You think about it, you potentially approach it in a different way. Away goals don't count anymore, right? So that throws a different element into it as well. But the last time a non-Big Five league team made it to a Champions League final was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, over 12 years ago.
Ajax came. Didn't they play a final against Tottenham?
What was that?
No,
2000.
They lost.
No, they got eliminated in the semis. Yeah,
but
Tottenham went to the final with Liverpool. Ajax should have won, and then they lost in like the last kick of the game. Right. So the likelihood, right, and this is the way I look at it, right? Like again, we want to be in the best competition, 100%, right? If you can get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, amazing, right? Not only because it's the best competition in the world from a club perspective, you get more money, right? And you get more visibility. Obviously players are going to want to come to a team that's in the Champions League naturally, right? But like for teams like us, right, in the Portuguese league, outside of the Big Five, who don't have that many chances to compete for a Champions League title, given the way soccer is today, right? Like, I'm going to be honest, I would rather trade a quarterfinal of a Champions League for a Europa League title. Like, I would 100% take that. And I know that people in the comments here. So Manny says, give me the round of 16, get smashed and play once a week and win the league. SLBES. Unfortunately, the course is real. We won't win it in another 45 years. A final is the best we can hope for. Luis, if you go deep in Europa, knowing that you won't get to the final, the team will be playing 2 or 3 times a week for months, making it more difficult to win at least one of the competitions. Tony says, sorry, guys, I meant to say final 16. Everything's afraid to lose. I'd still choose Bayern, Joe Miguel says. Joanina says, I'd still pick the UCL. Portugal benefits more being in the UCL than going to Europa and losing to Spartak. Give me Europa if you and I Emery is my coach. It's true. He's pretty good at He's pretty good at winning Europa Leagues. He's in the Champions League next round. So, Tony, how do you know you're going to get crushed against Bayern? First game, yes. Second game, did not play to win. Now it's different. There's no losing. You have to play to win. Again, fair. Knockout games are very different than the league. Luis says right now Spanish tabloids say Benfica jode el Barça. We need to I'm assuming that's what it means. City is infiltrated by Benfica fans in the team. We have them mined Bernardo, João, Diaz, and Edison. Yeah, they're going to score own goals for us. Supporters prefer pride of the UCL. Again, right? Like, I get it. But is there pride when you fucking walk away with a 12-0 aggregate defeat? Like, Paul, I'm going to ask you this, right? And we just went through it too in the group stage, right? Which is, I would say, maybe different because we're not further in the competition, but still sucks, right? Like, when you get smashed by a team like that, like, yes, I'm proud that my team is in the Champions League. Yes. But when you're all over the tabloids of fucking Bayern Munich smashing you guys and not even looking like they broke a sweat, like, for me, that's not pride. That's embarrassing.
No, it absolutely does suck. No, it does. But then, like, if you think in that mentality, what's the point of even being in Champions League?
I get that, but we need to think realistic.
Think realistic, Paul. Do you realistically think
you guys are thinking about like money and like all these comments say about money and helping Portugal? I'm saying as a fan, just a fan.
As a fan, I want to win in Champions League. I want to win. Exactly, but I don't want to get smashed.
Why even go? Listen, right now, right? If you go in Champions League, you're any Portuguese team to win Champions League right now, it's not going to happen.
Correct.
So, like, why are you guys getting worried in these games? Like, who gives a shit then? It makes no sense to me that
it's not worried in the sense of like, oh my God, right? Because we go into it knowing that, like, realistically, round of 16 is great, right? If you get a good group. Right. Past the round of 16 is amazing. Again, depending who you get in the draw, right? Like, for example, if both of our teams, right, could get Lille, for example, right? Our expectations, for me at least, I would say we need to get past Lille, right? Would you agree, Paul, for your side as well?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the only team that I don't think we'll be favored in anyone we get, but that'll be the closest one.
Against Lille, I think we'd both be favored. Oscar, do you agree?
I don't know. They'll be close.
Yeah, it'll be pretty close. I think we're in the same. I think they'll compare us to Lille as the same caliber. Maybe we're favorites because they had a joke of I think they didn't have that group was the worst group in the.
Well, it was they were all similar teams though. It was them. It was Atlanta, right? That was that group. Them, Atlanta, Villarreal, and Sevilla.
No, Villarreal
was Manchester
group. Hold on, I got it right here.
No, it was them.
Sevilla.
Who else was in that group?
It was. Let me see.
They were all similar. They were all like mediocre teams. It was
Salzburg, Sevilla, and Wolfsburg.
Okay.
Yeah, Salzburg, Sevilla, and Wolfsburg. So like it was, and the team that competed with them was Salzburg.
Correct, and they qualified in second place.
Yeah. So anybody from that group I'll take and be favorites.
Who's the last team in this? Villarreal, right? Is the last team?
Villarreal, yeah, they won today. So we'll ask you here now, and we'll see kind of. Obviously, I think we all agree that we would prefer Lille here from pot one to go up against. Is our number one option. Oscar, you agree?
pretty much
Paul?
the only one.
I would take right now. Can I go?
Hold on.
order?
First, tell me who would be your first.
Lille will be my first.
Leo.
Okay, and then I'm going to ask you, who are the 3 teams that you absolutely want to avoid?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm different than Paul, but I want to
you go.
avoid.
Yeah, because
So Bayern doesn't count for us, right?
I want to avoid Manchester City. I want to avoid Liverpool, and I want to avoid Real Madrid.
Okay.
Don't
Fair.
sleep on Ajax, though, dude. They're fucking nasty.
I know they are, but do you take Real Madrid?
Yeah,
over
no, I
Ajax?
agree. No, that's. I mean, for you could really pick any of the other ones except for Man U.
Yeah.
Paul, who is your preferred, and who are the 3 that you want to avoid?
So preferred is Leo, obviously, and the 3 are easy too: Liverpool, City, and Bayern.
Damn, you can pick. You can get all 3. Wow.
That's true. I think their poison is worse than ours.
Yeah, it's tough. It's the only.
That's
thing
what you get for getting a more fortunate group than us.
Well, but to be honest,
pre-draw.
I really do think, like in that, I think Ajax could easily beat a Real, Juve, or Man U as well. They destroyed our group easily. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm hoping to get Lille, and that's it. It's really.
Luis says here, Lille's 11th in the Liga. Of course, would be favorites. For those of you in the chat, let us know who would be the teams that you would want to avoid at all costs, and who would you prefer.
Can I give my order now?
Yeah, hold on. Tony says Manchester United there in our league. With the Champions League money, Rui Costa may want to strengthen the team. Villarreal won Atlanta today and qualified for the last 16. Yep, they're not in this graphic because the graphic was taken yesterday and I wasn't able to get one from today.
Yeah, but Villarreal will be on our side.
They're on the runners.
So we can't get them anyways.
Joe Miguel says I take Juve first. Juve is beyond subpar this year. Same 3 as Oscar Luis says, and Fernando says avoid City, Liverpool, Real Madrid, best team to catch, Lille, Man United, Juventus. And I think the thing that we're forgetting here is the knockout stages are not until March, I believe, right? So a lot of things can change between now and then. I think Manchester United is going to improve between now and then, but we'll see. Manny says City, Liverpool, and United to avoid. Oscar, I'm going to ask you now, and I'm going to write this down and see how close we get. What do you think your predictions are for this draw?
My predictions for this draw. Well, we know the Chelsea can't get Liverpool or Man City. I think Benfica will probably end up with a Juve.
I'll take that. Okay. Paul, who do you think you're going to get?
Lille.
Oh my God. If you guys get Leo, I'll be so mad.
No, I actually think just because of my luck, we're gonna get Manchester United.
Oh, I know the feeling of having the 2 teams that you like play against each other.
It'll be very it'll be sparkling 100%. But I just feel like it's gonna be one of those. I don't know. Just I have a feeling.
I love. You know what I love? I love for PSG to get Bayern.
It won't happen. I feel like
love it.
I'm still of the opinion that there's cold and hot balls in that draw.
I want Chelsea to get Bayern.
But yeah, Chelsea gets Bayern or PSG gets Bayern. Get one of those, or PSG gets Real Madrid. Like
do PSG City? Oh no, they can't because they're in the same group.
Yeah, no PSG.
Liverpool City, right? Liverpool City, Man City. Well, it doesn't matter. So yeah, Liverpool, PSG, Bayern, Chelsea.
I feel like City's going to get a layup like Salzburg.
Hey, I will tell you this. I remember this very well, too. One year, City ended up in Europa, knocked out Porto, and then Sporting knocked out City that year.
They did. I remember that game. The second game was at City, too, if I'm not mistaken.
I was at your house.
Hey, Miguel just said something. Miguel, PSG cannot get Lille, so they have to get a big dog.
Oh, because they're French. I forgot about that.
They can get Ajax, though.
Yeah, and you just said Ajax could be better than Juventus, Real, and Man
No, I
City
agree.
United.
I mean, I think that Ajax could, like, PSG is one of those teams that should be a juggernaut, but there's like too many guys or something, bad coach, something like that.
How would you think? How interesting would it be if Benfica got Ajax and Sporting got Bayern?
I mean, I honestly think that we'd both get eliminated still. I think your aggregate would probably be a little less bad than ours, but
Oscar, how do you think we would do against
played,
Ajax?
I think we played Ajax in last year's group stage, and I think they even said last year or 2 years ago, and they even said that Benfica was probably the hardest team they played in the group, and we were very close. Both games.
I mean, I would say that you guys have a way better chance of getting past Ajax than us against Bayern. Obviously, I'm hoping to avoid those big three. I mean, obviously, I don't want to get Man U, but I just want Lille. Screw it. Let's get Lille and fuck it.
Manny says if the fix is in, we'll have a Messi versus Ronaldo fixture.
I would actually love that. I would love Manchester United to play PSG.
It wouldn't surprise me. Again, I'm still convinced, and it might not be true, but I'm convinced that there's hot and cold balls in there because I feel like a lot of the same teams get the same teams. Like Arsenal always gets Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. Like I feel like there's a lot of similar fixtures that we see year in, year out. Like what are the chances?
Juve was in Chelsea's group, right?
Correct.
So they can only get Bayern, Real, Ajax, or Lille. They're going to get Lille.
Juve can get PSG.
I'm saying Chelsea. Chelsea can only get Real,
Chelsea can get Real.
Ajax, Bayern, Lille. They're going to end up getting
three
Lille.
English teams. Yeah,
I
forgot. I didn't realize that 3 English teams there.
I just thought of that now. I hope they get Bayern. Oh my God, that'll be a nice little win for me.
Fernando says Ajax to Benfica and Bayern to Sporting, both beaten 12-1. We did very well against PSV. PSV actually got eliminated today from the Europa League. So
yeah, So it's weird because I'm pretty sure this is weird too. PSV played Ajax for like the Super Cup, their Super Cup,
and they smashed them.
4-0. Yeah, and then you guys beat PSV to get into Champions League, and then Ajax came in and like played out of there. I was very surprised at how good they were.
I agree.
Very good.
Yeah, and then they got eliminated today from the Europa League, which is interesting. We had one more topic, but we're going to hold on to that for next week, just for a timing perspective. Luis says I wouldn't say no to Juve. Good memories.
Yeah, Lima. Oh my God,
this is true.
Playing down a guy or two in Juventus Turin. Damn, that game. And we got that. Those Reds will probably made us lose the final.
Dude, those last like 10 minutes were like the most stressful 10 minutes of my life.
And we played against Pirlo. We played against Tevez. We played against Pogba.
The final was in Turin that year too.
Yeah, that was one of the we played against the top Juve team and we beat them, knocked them out. But then Porto takes the same credit for beating them last year when they were like aleijados.
The final this year is in Russia, right?
I don't know where the hell it is. Let me see.
I was looking for tickets so I can watch Sporting in the final.
That's on. You can get those for free. You just turn on the Xbox. Let me see where the final is here. 2020.
I'm pretty sure it's in St. Petersburg. Pretty sure.
21-22, right? Yeah. The final will be in St. Petersburg. Yep. Interesting.
By the way, just Luis just made me remember, man. I miss having Cardozo in Lima.
Those were the days.
So much.
To close this off, Oscar, who would be your MVP for this game, for the Dynamo game?
Is that a joke? Gilberto, man.
He got a 6.8 goal point rating. He was the best one. P. Zaldinho got a 5.3. Yaremchuk Otamendi was second with 6.4. Actually, Vlaco Dimos was a 6.8 along with Gilberto, but Gilberto got the highest rating. João Mario was actually voted the man of the match, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm. He played really well. He played really, really well.
Didn't he get an assist?
He did. He got the assist. Yeah.
That just for that goal, the assist, the run that he did, it reminded me of Luis Nunes.
And he started it too, right? He started it and then got it back and then passed it.
Correct.
Yeah,
he went to the line.
No, I would give it to Gilberto just because of how, like that goal that he scored, which is like he took it. That was a striker goal, and he played out of his mind throughout the whole game. And then, but João Mario was the João Mario that we remember from the beginning.
Yeah. Fernando says PSV plays the 3 European competitions this year. They started in Champions League preliminary round. They went to Europa League, and they just got relegated to the Conference League. So they did the trifecta here. He says Gilberto Linda. Lima was one of the most underrated players. His combo with Pistolas was amazing.
Yeah.
That's true. Like I said, we had the JJ topic queued up, but we're going to save that one for next week. Hopefully it'll be a non-topic after we beat Famalicão, but who the hell knows? If we don't beat Famalicão, that topic will be have even more legs to walk or run. So we'll save that one for next week. I want to thank everyone in the chat. We had quite a few comments here, some new names, some constant or some frequent names that we see in here. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Subscribe, follow, share, like, tell your friends, your family, your mom, your dad, Sporting fans. They like us too. Don't forget to share this episode out as well. Check us out, cantinhobenfiquista.com. We've got articles in English and in Portuguese. Paul, any final words?
Yeah,
and don't say chupa either.
No. This is this is based on what Oscar said earlier. If you guys do drop points to Famalicão this weekend and Porto lose points to Braga, and Sporting doesn't drop points until the Porto Benfica game, I will root for Benfica against Porto.
Ooh, okay. He's gonna root
You can't take it back now.
I already did.
I don't want you to root for me.
He was doing his math.
I don't do
it. If you guys lose points this week, you're 7 points back. Your cliff's gonna come too in January again, like last year.
Oscar still got the parachute. It's got a couple of holes in it, but he's got the parachute.
I know. I haven't gone up the hill. I've been way at the bottom of the cliff with Benfica.
Oscar, any final words for you?
No. Hey, listen. Real talk. Congratulations to Sporting. Congratulations to Benfica. We made it through to the group stage, and good luck to Porto. Lana kill us to win the league.
I was gonna say, is he really gonna say it? He's got his toes crossed or something when he said. Again, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. It was a fun conversation. Again, everyone in the chat, good night, SLB. Luis, good night. It's late over there. Go get some sleep. We will be back next week, hopefully with a win against Famalicão, and a good, favorable draw again in the Champions League. Gentlemen, have a good evening, and we will chat soon. See you.
Good night.
Good night.